Greetings friends, Lieutenant Fish back with another comics related video. I do have a movie review planned for the end of the week, but this timing just worked out too well, and I've been meaning to make a video on this subject for quite some time now. All the pieces fell into place this week. This video is focused on the boutique publisher Flesk Publishing. They're not a comics indie publisher in the same sense. Most of their work is more art-driven. These are side projects from artists that I know most of you will recognize, many of them. But this Flesk Publishing is a unique studio. They're also the company that puts out the Spectrum art books every year, the best science fiction and fantasy art you may see. So I've been meaning to talk about them for a while now, and their recent Kickstarter, I just received the shipped today, and it turned out beautifully, and I really wanted to share that with you. And I've been meaning to recommend them for a long time now. So this is a bit of a sampler book they offer on their website. FleskPublications.com is listed in the description below. They have a YouTube channel. I don't think they're on Twitter, but definitely check them out. So I just wanted to go over a few of my favorite artists and the titles they've been doing with Flesk Publishing the last few years. Most of these are available on their site right now. They might be paperbacks versus the hardcover editions I have, but they're all worth it, more than worth it. And if you get in on the Kickstarters, you normally get some amazing deals with signed and numbered prints and volumes and everything else. So first off, Gianni is one of my very favorite artists. His pen and ink style is very retro and vintage style, very evocative, beautiful. I've done a lot of discussion about his cross-hatching style on Twitter before and shared a lot of pictures by him, but I absolutely love his work. This is a little bit of just a sketchbook almost, or sort of a random assortment of weird images. So he's done a number of his own projects. Corpus Monstrum is the big one. He also illustrated Prince Valiant in the newspapers for about 4 years, 2004, 2008 or so. So this is not actually the collection, which you can buy on Amazon, of his whole run. This is like a making-of book. This is kind of like the director's cut, showing his process, different portions, how he was getting in, different formats he did. And so you start with the simple sketches and how he progresses to ink. And he was the third artist in the 70-year run. Uses a lot of pose work, but beautiful, beautiful work. Sorry, I have to adjust the camera angle a little bit so I don't accidentally switch over to vertical format with this camera. So that's a really nice look forward by Mike Mignola. But he did a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This was a classic version done via Kickstarter. I think it might have been a reprint version of the original Illustrated Classics version he did. But this one includes signed and numbered Fortis piece. And I think I have another sketch in here. Yes, piece of original artwork. So that is one of the cool things about Kickstarters with Flesk Publishing. You get original art, you get signed sketches, numbered books. Beautiful, beautiful work. Introduction by Ray Bradbury. I love Ray Bradbury. Then we have Mark Schultz, Xenozoic. This is basically the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. This is the original book, or not the original book. This is a reprint of the full original run from the 80s. So this is the inspiration for the comic book, for the cartoon, for the video game, anything else you may have seen. This is all full volume of the entire run, and it is gorgeous. It is great. Great story, great adventure, great characters, awesome setting, very unique. So this is totally worth it, and it's a great deal on the website. They also did a Kickstarter recently for a reprinted hardcover edition, which is even more gorgeous. And the big deal here, too, they're actually talking, he's working on a volume, or the next ongoing story, because this kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger at the end. But he is, as far as I know, he's working on the next one, and there may be a Kickstarter for that one in the next year or so. Through Flesk, I believe. Carbon is a couple of art books he's done. Beautiful, beautiful work. Amazing art. I love this stuff. I love it. Giant monkeys, dragons, people. Oh, yes. You see the whole process. So, this was another Kickstarter he did, Storms at Sea. This was a custom old-style pulp story, fully illustrated. Gorgeous. The book printing is amazing. You look at this retro-style inset cover, just like those old paperbacks or hardcovers from the 50s and 60s. And the whole format is amazing. Came with a cover, a hard case again. So then we have another artist, Petar Meseldzija. I think I messed that up again. Legend of Steel Bashaw. This is a retelling of a Serbian folktale. Beautiful. This gorgeous painted work. This is really reminds you a lot of the Hildebrandt brothers if you grew up in the 80s and 90s with some of the Marvel collectors cards and that sort of artwork. But beautiful artwork. He has some interesting details about learning how to draw a horse, or teaching himself how to draw a horse, when people were comparatively easy for him. But it's a really beautiful fantasy story. Very well illustrated. Classic Eastern European format. Then he did a Kickstarter for the Book of Giants, which is kind of similar, but is a bit of a story, but a lot more of a art-driven, or the story is not, a huge part of it. It's really just framing for the art. But I do need to read it again, actually. I've gone through it once, but that was a while ago. Great artwork. Great designs. Real amazing talent here. And then, this is a monster, and I gotta be careful with it because it's a little, Drawing Beautiful Women by the Frank Cho Method. This is the massive studio edition, very oversized, and so it also has the naughty cover I have to hide. But it does have some templates that are useful. I don't think I'll ever... I've always had aspirations of picking up a pen and a sketchbook and messing around, but my schedule just really doesn't allow it. That said, I will buy anything by Frank Cho, and this is a beautiful piece of work, and it has a lot of very useful information and a lot of great tips for aspiring artists or people who just want to build on their talent and so forth. So it is, you might call erotic or cheesecake style art. It's not sexual, but it involves a lot of nude women just because of the female form and just the style that Frank Cho uses. But I've chosen a few pictures to highlight his design work here. So he goes from the sketches, his detail, and then the finished work. Zooming out a little bit. And he has a few like this that give a good detail on motion and poses and all that. And there's actually a very nice... he actually did a 1.5 hour video on Vimeo. It's a Vimeo piece that has a basically just a lesson on some of his art style. So, you have this beautiful work here. This is all ballpoint pen. and he describes some of this in the video. I don't know if they're ever going to put it on YouTube and make it available for everybody else, but it is definitely worth it. And you have Frank Cho's very self-deprecating style, Frank Monkey Man Show, but he has, this is a beautiful piece of work, and it really gives you some great lessons, especially for folks starting out, or folks wanting to work on proportions and a realistic form and everything else. I would highly recommend this, and you can get the paperback version pretty cheap on their website. There may even be the hard copy still available. This one is signed, and I think I have a frontispiece inside, and I got a few sketches and other things, which are, of course, are mostly somewhat naughty, but very, very beautiful. But the big reason for today's video is that I got my most recent Kickstarter from them today. This is a collaboration between two of my favorite artists and writers, and it is beautiful. It is the Studio Edition of Hellboy Into the Silent Sea by Mike Mignola and Gary Gianni. So, word of warning, this is not the actual story, or excuse me, it is a partial version of the story. The real Dark Horse edition, hardcover edition, comes out on May 2nd in comic book stores. So go ahead and pre-order it. This is an equivalent of a director's cut, or for DVD and Blu-ray fans, a isolated score, where you have original sketches, and then dialogue free, so no lettering, nothing, just the original, just the final art, or well, it's not colored either, and it is beautiful, pen and ink, Gary Gianni's amazing work, but it has Mike Mignola's notes on what the dialogue would be and what should be implied in the imagery. So you also get some artwork of Corpus Monstrum in the back, one of my favorite side characters by Gary Gianni, one of his originals. And it has some of his making of discussions here as well. Corpus Monstrum is Benedict the Monster Hunter. So you get this whole volume, which is available on paperback or the Studio Edition on their website right now. From part of the Kickstarter, I also got some very nice prints. Beautiful. Oh yeah, this book is signed somewhere. I got some more sketches, and I got a full-size print of my choice of pages. It was a little hard to tell from the thumbnails, but signed by Mr. Gianni. I think this turns out very nicely, and I will definitely be getting this framed. And then the coup de grace, a hardcover, fully illustrated with pencil illustrations by Gary Gianni of The Call of Cthulhu. This is so cool. This is like the ultimate stretch goal. Oh man, I love Lovecraft, and this is just gorgeous and so high quality hardcover. This is amazing. So this is definitely worth it, and you can buy this on the website directly as well. So anyway, that is it for this. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the amazing Flesk Publications, and follow them on YouTube and check out their website, which is linked below. You will not regret it. They have a lot of other great artists featured. They have books by Arthur Adams. They have books by Paul Dini. They have art for ElfQuest. Let's see, Wendy Pini, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not good at the names. You have Terry Dodson art. You have Brahm. But they always have Kickstarters going on a couple times a year. So definitely check them out. Oh yeah, Steve Rudin Nexus. So, like I said, only a couple of these are actually real comics, per se. But you get a lot of art and a lot of behind-the-scenes artwork in seeing how the final product is put together. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And definitely worth your money if you're a fan of this type of art, or any kind of art, really. I mean, you can find all sorts of different types of art on their site. Different artists, different styles. A lot of old school stuff, though. A lot of vintage or retro-styled classical artwork. So if you are tired of the SJW Marvel and that awful, awful artwork you're seeing in the comics, take a look at some of these books, and you will not regret it. This art will blow you out of the water. And that's it for now. New movie review out on Friday. Lieutenant Fish, out.